Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Glad to have you here with us this morning. I'm Mary Murray Shelton. I'm the community spiritual leader here. And I want to welcome all those of you who are with us online this morning. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you as our online part of this congregation. So welcome. This is an opportunity right now to welcome one another, which is a very important part of the service. So I'm going to invite you to stand up and introduce yourselves to anybody you don't know. Welcome each other. Welcome people back that you haven't seen in a while. And make sure people know who you are. And you at home, go ahead and give yourself a hug. Pour yourself another cup of coffee or tea. Maybe take a little jog around the living room. And just get yourself ready for a wonderful morning. We'll all be back in a moment to sing. Good morning.
I'll say good morning to you.
How are you, Sonia?
Nice to be here this morning.
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. Woo. All right. So we have Gary Lynn Floyd with us this morning for our morning music. And there's so much heart in him. I always enjoy it when he's here this morning. Golly, this is so interesting. The room is shuffled up. I like that. You're sitting in different seats. Good job. I hadn't even asked you. Well done. Give yourselves a hand. That's excellent. Good for you. Yay. Good for you. At home, you can move to a different chair as well. Just nice to see things from a different perspective. So this is our opportunity to sing with Gary. And he is the artist in residence at the Center for Spiritual Living in Reno. He, along with Karen Drucker, did our 30th anniversary concert last year. And although I don't know if he's been in this room doing music, at least not while I've been here, but I'd like to see that change. But anyway, Gary is just a sweetheart. So I want to invite you to stand. We're going to sing Pure Light with him, which if you don't remember it, is not difficult to start with. So here we go.
Good morning, Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Gary Lynn Floyd back here with you this morning. I can't believe it's already July. We're halfway through the year. I got a great song for you this morning. It's called Pure Light. I hope you stand up and sing it with me. It goes like this. Life is in me, moving through me, beyond question, steady and strong. Power and presence is my essence, been within me all along. This is the most important part. What is there to be afraid of? Pure light is what we are made of. Sing that chorus with me again. What is there to be afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? Pure light is what we are made of. Pure light is what we are made of. All right, second verse goes like this. Life is in you. Can you feel it? Look inside you, look around. Power and presence is your essence. Where stand is holy ground. What is there to be afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? Pure light is what we are made of. Sing that part with me again. What is there to be afraid of? Pure light is what we are made of. Pure light is what we are made of. Back to the top. Life is in me, moving through me, beyond question, steady and strong. Power and presence, power and presence is my essence. Been within me all along. What is there to be afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? Yeah. Pure light is what we are made of. One more time. What is there to be afraid of? What is there to be afraid of? Pure light is what we are made of. Pure light is what we are made of. Then we're going to chant at the end. We are made of pure light. 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 Pure light. Pure light. Pure light. Sound great this morning. Thank you.
You do sound great this morning. Applaud yourselves. It's always good to acknowledge yourselves, you know. This was really, really lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So now that we've greeted one another and sung, we're going to turn within and center so that we can be attuned to whatever messages the universe has for us this morning, either through the music or the words or being in the room with one another, whatever it might be. So right now, as we turn within, I'm going to invite our morning practitioner, Leslie Giannetti, up to come do the opening for us.
Turning within to the sacred center of the universe, as I bring my full recognition to the divine pattern of perfection unfolding orderly through everything, and recognizing one life and one power, pouring itself and spreading itself across the past, the present, and the future in this holy moment of now, the moment of eternity. I realize that each one is a unique, individualized expression of this life, and that the omni-action of the infinite life fills each one to overflowing with light. Every moment that the light itself is the harmonizing peace within each one that centers through each one and calls them home. I speak my word for each one, and I claim an opening in consciousness for resonant realization that the longing of the heart is the opening where the soul is absolutely seeking greater self-expression, and allowing the self-expression is allowing for the infinite life to flourish through each one, the infinite life to heal and harmonize and inspire. The omnipresence of life is the source of everything. And in today's service, it is the source of Reverend Mary's words. It is the source of listening and connection. It is the source of being home with the truth. So I give thanksgiving in advance for the opening in consciousness which allows for the truth of life to settle through each one and guide them to their sacred center where they connect with the highest and best. And I release my word to the law of mind, which accepts my word as a new creation, ready to be made manifest right now for the highest, greatest good. And so it is.
Thank you, Leslie.
Be not afraid, for I am with you always. Be not afraid, for I am always with you. Be not afraid, forever and always I am with you. Be not afraid. It's really simple. Sing this with me. Be not afraid, for I am with you always. Be not afraid, for I am always with you. Be not afraid, forever and always I am with you. Be not afraid. Claim this for yourself. Let's sing. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. For you are with me always. I'm not afraid. For you are always with me. I'm not afraid. Forever and always. Forever and always. You are with me. I'm not afraid. That's powerful. Let's sing that one more time. Here we go. I'm not afraid, for you are with me always. I'm not afraid, for you are always with me. I'm not afraid, forever and always you are with me. I'm not afraid. Be not afraid again. Be not afraid, for I am with you always. Be not afraid, for I am always with you. Be not afraid, forever and always I am with you. Be not afraid, I am with you. I am with you. Be not afraid. You are with me. You are with me. I'm not afraid. I am with you. I am with you. Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Be not afraid.
How are you? You good? We walked out to get in the car this morning, and I discovered that my car had been egged. Never happened to me before. I was sort of amazed. Broke my driver's side window, too. It was just a really startling thing. But, you know, it washes, windows get repaired. It's kind of like the process of living. You know, what we go through, it's wondrous and then sometimes surprising. Sometimes there are challenges that we have to meet that are greater or smaller. And, you know, it's interesting. I thought about that. Whoever it was that threw the egg at my car was like, you know, kids with nothing better to do who don't know what to do with themselves and are bored and are out, you know, just to make some mischief and threw an egg at the car. I don't think they intended to break the window, and I don't hold anything against them. I do have something I need to wash off now, but we didn't have time for that this morning. But I just wanted to share that with you. It's like, this is just a piece of life. Stuff happens. You go, oh, well, you know, it was my turn to kind of wander in front of something, and I'm glad it was only that. So it's a grand rising to discover that you can have an experience like that and not get furious and not feel vengeful and know that it's inconvenient, but next, you know, on with it. And so this month we've been talking about the path of freedom. And I think, you know, discovering that I wasn't angry. I didn't want to punish anybody. I didn't, you know, finding that was here, that was kind of really freeing. Do you know what I mean? When you have that moment when you find yourself not reacting to something that maybe sometime in your life you would have, and you think, gee, that was nice. I didn't go off the edge over this, right? So today we're talking about outrageous expressions that changed the world. I want to talk to you today about people who chose and actually were irresistibly compelled to go forward and do what they did to they weren't necessarily doing it to make the world a better place, although that was something that they wanted to do, but they did it because their curiosity, their creativity, their desire impelled them to keep going. And it wasn't always easy, just like it isn't always easy for us, except that for them, being very visible and well known, the challenges and difficulties became proportionally more challenging, because with that many people focused on you, either in adoration or loathing, stuff happens, yes? So I want to talk about a couple of priests who went on vacation. They decided they were going to go to Hawaii, and they just want to be regular guys, just guys. So when the plane landed, they went to a local store. They bought themselves some wild Hawaiian shirts and some outrageous shorts, Hawaiian sandals and sunglasses, and they're ready to hit the beach incognito as regular guys. So the next morning they went to the beach dressed in their tourist gear, and they were sitting on beach chairs enjoying the sunshine, enjoying a drink and the scenery, and a pretty woman in a bikini came walking down the beach toward them. And they tried not to stare, but as she passed them, she turned toward them and she smiled and she said, "Good morning, Father. Good morning, Father." And then nodding to them and addressing them individually, and then she walked on, and they were stunned. How could she tell? How in the world did she know that they were priests? Well, so the next day, they put on even more outrageous clothing and shorts and sandals and sunglasses, and they were really doing their touristy, regular guy thing, and they went to the beach. And they sat down in their beach chairs again to enjoy the sunshine. And the same pretty woman came by, wearing a different bikini, and she came toward them and she said again to them, "Good morning, Father. Good morning, Father." And one of them couldn't stand it anymore, and he said to her, "Just a minute, ma'am. We're both priests, it's true, but how in the world did you spot us?" She says, "Oh, Father, don't you recognize me? I'm Sister Catherine." Sometimes people want to show up outside of the role that they're commonly recognized in because it gives them a little extra elbow room, right? So in this case, that was what they were up to. When I think about, and yesterday when I was sorting through, trying to figure out people who changed the world, with what they did, there were so many of them. I thought, there's no way. I'm going to have to narrow this down. And so I narrowed it down to 3 people. And these 3 were scientists, as it turns out. And then there was so much information about all of them. It was like, I don't know how I can't say all of this. I'm not doing a seminar on these scientists. Okay, fine. So just, narrow it down to the important stuff. So my question was, as I was looking at this, was what motivated these people to do what they did, to face what they faced, and to keep on going? So I want to tell you about these people. The first one is Galileo. Galileo is regarded as the father of modern science and physics and observational astronomy. He was the first person to improve on the design of a telescope by increasing the length of it, making the focus better, increasing the magnification. He observed the moon. It was the first time people got any impression that the moon had texture to it, that it wasn't just a disk, a flat disk, that there were mountains. And not only did he observe the moon, he also observed the phases of Venus, which challenged the Aristotelian version of the Earth being the center of the universe and everything rotating around it. He also observed Jupiter and the moons of Jupiter. The 4 moons of Jupiter are now named the Galilean moons after him. And he saw sunspots on the sun, and all of that challenged this model of the Earth as the center of the universe. He said, "I give thanks to God who has been pleased to make me the first observer of marvelous things." Now, Galileo is said to have had quite an ego, but On his side at the time was the Pope, who had been a good friend of his when he was merely a cardinal. However, Galileo's ego, it got him into trouble. He was trying to present the information that he had discovered in a way that would allow people to consider that maybe the earth wasn't the center of the universe and maybe that wasn't a terrible thing. Well, he wrote his treatise like there was a conversation happening between two individuals, one who represented this idea of the earth as the center of the universe and one who represented this other idea. Unfortunately, he put the words into this framework of the church versus science, and he kind of made the Pope sound like a fool. That did not go down. So because he was challenging both the church and Aristotle, mind you, the Pope believed what Galileo was proving. But because he embarrassed him in such a huge public way, he got himself into trouble. So, conflicting with not only the Aristotelian view but the church views, he was put on trial by the Inquisition. He was found guilty. He was sentenced to house arrest for the remainder of his life and not allowed to write or publish. He wrote a lot, but he didn't send anything out. Everything had to stay right where he was. This was a painful, I imagine, a very painful experience for Galileo to not be able to do his work. And he said, I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. And he said, it is surely harmful to souls to make it a heresy to believe what is proved. In 2 Timothy, St. Paul wrote this to Timothy, or maybe Timothy wrote it, I don't know, I may be wrong about that. 2 Timothy, probably Timothy wrote it, I should know, but I'm quoting him anyway. He says, for the time will come when people will not put up with sound doctrine. Instead, to suit their own desires, they will gather around them a great number of teachers to say what their itching ears want to hear. And we haven't changed a lot since the time that Timothy wrote or Galileo was dealing with his stuff. I mean, we've moved forward in all these areas, but we've retained some of our cherished opinions as well as deep beliefs. That was Galileo. He had this thrill of looking at the universe and seeing the mystery of what was out there, discovering that the Milky Way galaxy wasn't just this smooth white thing, it was all stars. He was astounded. His curiosity, his desire to see more, to understand more, to explain more, drove him. And yet, it was tough. He kept going for a long time. The next one I want to talk about is Marie Curie. She was born in 1867, died in 1934. She discovered polonium and radium, pioneered radioactivity research, developed radiation treatments for cancer, and helped create the X-ray machine. Amazing. Her research expanded the knowledge of atomic physics and earned 2 Nobel Prizes, challenging traditional notions about the composition of matter and the nature of radiation. Amazing. However, she carried bottles of polonium and radium in her coat pocket. And she and her husband, Pierre, loved visiting their workroom at night to observe the luminescent glow of the bottles containing radioactive materials. She died in 1934 of aplastic anemia, and researchers believe she developed it because of her continuous exposure to radioactive elements. She died in 1934, that was almost 100 years ago. Still, all of her papers and books are considered highly radioactive. They're stored in lead-lined boxes, and anyone wanting to view them has to wear a protective suit and sign a liability waiver. What drove her to keep experimenting with this, to keep looking at it, to keep trying to discover what it would do? She thought it was safe. She opposed those who felt that it wasn't safe. At one point she said, and this goes along with the same delight of discovery and curiosity and passion that we hear from Galileo. She said, a scientist in his laboratory is not a mere technician. He is also a child, confronting natural phenomena that impress him as though they were fairy tales. Magic, basically. That glow, it was magic. Discovering that became irresistible to her. What could this be used for? How might it make life better? That's what she was committed to. And yet, she died of a difficult disease as a result of her work. And then we have Albert Einstein. What an oddball. He didn't care about his appearance. He didn't particularly bother to groom himself. He hated socks because he said they always got holes in them. So for most of his later life, he never wore socks. His theories of relativity fundamentally altered the concepts of space, time, and gravity, challenging the accepted principles. You notice the theme here? In physics and cosmology, and leading to breakthroughs in nuclear physics and astronomy. He was studying calculus by the age of 12. That same year, he got a book of geometry and read it cover to cover. He called it his holy booklet. He didn't speak until he was 4 years old. He was very disinterested in school because in school they had to learn things by rote. They had to memorize and be able to spit things back, and he just wasn't interested. People said, and teachers said, he was never going to amount to anything. Eventually, they asked him to leave school because they felt he was a bad influence on other students because he was so disinterested. He also became quite a good violinist. When he first started lessons, he hated it, but then, once he got introduced to Bach and Mozart, he loved it, and he was mostly self-taught. He was a wonderful violinist for the rest of his life. He went to a seminar once and said to them something like, we'll all probably have more fun if I play the violin instead of doing a lecture, and that's what he did. He said, I often think in music. I daydream in music. I see my life in terms of music. I get most joy in life out of music. Well, you know, music is related to mathematics. He said, I have no special talent. Yeah, right. I am only passionately curious. Yes, here we see the theme again. And then he said, all religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree. Doesn't that sound like Ernest Holmes? In the 1920s, there was opposition to his theory of relativity and also to him. An organization in Berlin was created solely to discredit him. He went to one of their meetings, sat in the front row, and applauded some of the speakers. The FBI monitored his activities, his mail. They opened his mail and read it. They tapped his phone. They gathered information on him from 1933 until his death in 1955. They have something like 150,000 documents. They never found anything to go after him for. But the campaign was to undermine his influence and reputation because J. Edgar Hoover had concerns about his pacifism. He said, and this is Einstein, that if he had known that Germany was never going to develop an atomic bomb, he never would have lifted a finger to have that happen. And once it had been used in the United States, he was opposed to all war everywhere. He was a pacifist. Hoover didn't like that. He also supported civil rights. He was a member of the NAACP. And he supported socialism and perceived, he had, not really, but Hoover felt he had perceived connections to communism. Einstein had written an article in favor of socialism, had criticized capitalism, and suggested a democratic socialist alternative. He was also a strong critic of the arms race. He considered racism America's worst disease. He said, science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. And then he said, I do not believe in race as such. Race is a fraud. All modern people are a conglomeration of so many ethnic mixtures that no pure race remains. These human beings, they went through difficulties to do what they did. And what they did changed the world. Not just their little corner of the world, not just their country, not just transformation of something within a certain period of time. What they did continues to influence us today. They did things that changed the world, and they were outrageous in their doing them. They were opposed, they were celebrated, they were awarded, they were punished. All these things because they dared. What did they have in common? What motivated them? First of all, insatiable curiosity. Secondly, a compulsion to do it, to take the risk. It was irresistible. The curiosity, the sense of wonder was so enormous, it was impossible to resist. Passionate commitment, absolute commitment, almost above anything else. They could not stop. And they each held a highly valued vision. Sometimes the vision was only forming as they went more and more toward it. So what happened as a result of what they did, besides changing the world in ways, was that it caused them some trouble. They ignored some stuff that maybe it wasn't so helpful to ignore, like having your feet on fire, being threatened with imprisonment, or being discredited, or poisoning yourself unintentionally. They experienced trouble. They experienced a certain amount of challenge and difficulty in the midst of that. And ultimately, it led to shifts in belief of everyone. There's hardly anyone in the world today, I mean, I imagine there are probably some, who say that, you know, the earth is still the center of the universe, or who say that, you know, radiation shouldn't ever be used for anything, or who think that Einstein was a fraud or crazy or whatever. But it doesn't take away from the fact that they changed the world with what they did. So what about for us? What motivates us? What moves us forward? I think it's the same things. I think that we are designed to be curious. We are designed to be awestruck with wonder when we are willing to let ourselves be. We are passionate about certain kinds of things that we love. It may be our siblings or our children or our pets. It might be a hobby or a profession that we have. It might be something that we discovered we're able to do. There are sports figures. You know, talk to Joe Hughes if you want to talk about being passionate about something. Talk to her about ice skating at the Olympic level. Rachel McAdams, who's a Canadian actress, said, I have a certain curiosity for life that drives me and propels me forward. She's a marvelous actress. Zora Neale Hurston, who's an African-American novelist, said, research is formalized curiosity. It is poking and prying with a purpose. And authors need to do that. They have to do research, whether they're writing fiction or nonfiction. So what does this mean about us? It means to me that we have within us this sacred thing that was planted in us. And it's not just in us. I see it in our cats. Curiosity. Last night after we were in bed, in my office, there was a huge crash. Oh my God. What is it? Amanda got up and went in there. I said, what is it? She said, everything. I went in to look, and one of the tables next to one of my chairs, which I had stacked a bunch of stuff on, I had also, I have aligners. I have these chewy things I'm supposed to chew on to help the aligners do their work. And they're bright red. And I had left my favorite one on this little table. Well, the cats love this thing. I had looked for it before we went to bed that night because I knew that if they found it, they did. So did I then, so it got put away. But curiosity, we have it within us. We can pretend it isn't there. We can squish it down. But it's there, and it's there to be celebrated. We have the capacity for surprise and wonder and awe and amazement. I'm going to have a new grandson at the end of August, beginning of September, and I'm looking forward to experiencing the awe and wonder of a new being in the world because they're so unpredictable, and seeing him discover the world. Because you notice and remember things that you haven't paid any attention to really in a long time. When you're around a little tiny person, they reawaken that sense of awe and wonder and discovery and curiosity. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, "When anyone conceives a new idea, thinks up a new plan for a procedure which is in accord with the divine nature, then God is going forth anew into creation through that individual." So, what about us? Well, did this cartoon quite a few years ago in which Charlie Brown is having a conversation with Linus. And he says, "Do you ever think much about the future, Linus?" And Linus says, "Oh yeah, all the time." And Charlie Brown says, "What do you think you'd like to be when you grow up?" And Linus's expression is not what you'd expect. His answer is outrageously happy. An outrageous expression does not have to be creating something that changes the world. It does not have to be something that puts us in prison or locks us down. How groundbreaking would it be for a group of people to decide, apropos of nothing, we're going to be outrageously happy? That's my goal. I'm going to be outrageously happy. What a thing that would be. And that could change the world. Holmes also said, latent divinity within us stirs our imagination, and because of its insistent demand, impels our growth. It is back of every invention. It proclaims itself through every creative endeavor. And he also said, you need not ask what others have done or how they have done it. Be yourself and express life as you find it. Never imitate. Trust the self. Find the self in God and God in the self. So what can we bring forward to assist us in living a life of outrageous happiness? Well, we have to let go of the little stuff. We have to let go of getting our car egged or aches and pains or going slower than we used to. We have to let go of that stuff. And we have to choose to be curious, to be playful, to be outrageously happy. Because you know what? If we do that, we might just change the world. Namaste. Thank you. So let's go ahead now and turn within to anchor this. There's only one. There's only one. This one is all. Simultaneously, fully, everything, everywhere, every when, always, without exception, in his fullness. That divine mystery in his fullness is here where I stand. It is at the back of the room. It is in every chair, filled or not. It is in the floor and the ceiling and the plants surrounding us in this lovely, beautiful town of Corte Madera. And this divine presence creates always. There is a divinity within it that impels creation forward, not only around us, but also through us. We are it, and we are the creation of it all at once. And we continue in that oneness to create ourselves. So I call forth for us this morning curiosity, passion, awe and wonder, divine delight in experiencing life as outrageous happiness, beyond anything that is an appearance, beyond anything that is a condition. We set those aside knowing that they only limit us if we let them, if we choose to feel limited. But instead, I know that we have it within us in this moment to choose great freedom, great joy, great wholeness, and to live from that center, knowing, as the song said this morning, that that one, that divine mystery, that source of all, is always with us. We accept this goodness with gratitude and happiness. We accept it and let it go into our lives in fullness to express through us in joy and playfulness, in curiosity, and in outrageous happiness. Anything unlike this is hereby dissolved, discredited, undone by the power of this word, dissolving back into its native nothingness and leaving the fullness of life and happiness behind. With great gratitude, we accept all this good. We accept it and cherish it and share it and know that it is inexhaustible. And for this, we are so appreciative and grateful that we let it go and just let it be so. And together we say, and so it is. Yes. Please stand and join me for the morning affirmation. As we say together, impact is made through courage. When I must express an idea, perspective, art form, or principle, I am lovingly supported by the unseen, by those who have done before me. I'm free to take the risk, and I accept the love of those who went before me. And so it is. You may be seated. And would the ushers please come forward as we prepare to receive our offering this morning. We want to bless all of the offering in this room, everything Golden Gate has received this week, and bless ourselves because we are also the gift. In fact, if you're here for the first time this morning, your presence is your gift. For all who are bringing your gifts this morning, take them, hold them in your hands with a loved one if you're there with somebody and you're giving them together, or let's all of us put our hands over our hearts. If you online want to text an offering this morning, you can do that by texting the dollar amount to the number on your screen and just following the directions. And what we're going to do is bless all of that right now. As we say together, this gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is.
You got your roller, and I've got my brush. You pick the colors I don't like very much. Our sensibilities are way out of touch. Now what? Stuck in your corner and I'm painted in mine. I think your viewpoint is way out of line. I imagine you feel the same most of the time. These corners are way overrated. What if we change the whole room way around? Take out the angles, what will we have found? There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle. A hurdle is only a hurdle. There aren't any sides in a circle. The paint on the floor that's so sticky and wet can't cover the hope, the dream, the regret, and all the things that we haven't seen yet. It's way past time for some changes. What if we change the whole room way around? Take out the angles, what will we have found? There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle. A hurdle is only a hurdle. There aren't any sides in a circle. Waiting on the paint to dry. Waiting on the paint to dry. Waiting on the paint to dry. What if we change the whole room way around? Take out the angles, what will we have found? There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle. A hurdle is only a hurdle. There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle. A hurdle is only a hurdle. There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle. There aren't any sides in a circle.
Yay. So on behalf of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living, all of us together now accept this offering. And we send it out into the world to seed curiosity, passion, wonder, and outrageous happiness. And so it is. If you are with us for the very first time this morning, I want to direct your attention to the back table on this side. This is our welcome table. It has all sorts of things on it that you're free to pick up and take with you, including welcome packets. Grab a welcome packet, take out the blue card. If you fill it out and turn it into Galen at the table there, she's going to give you a little book as our thank you gift for coming today and your invitation to come back and join us often in the future. It's called Nourishing Thoughts, and it gives little bits of affirmations to address all kinds of challenges, like not specifically when your car gets egged, but I'm sure we could apply it to that. And we love it that you're here. If you're online with us for the first time this morning, send us a shout at ggcsl.org, ggcsl@ggcsl.org, and we'll send you one of these books with thanks for attending online. I want to thank everybody that created this morning for us, that set up this ordinarily empty room and made it a lovely space for us to come together. So let's acknowledge them all. And in addition to enjoying the treats and snacks after the service, come over and check out the altar this morning by the Frost family for a little centering refreshment. Yes, Coco agrees. If you are interested in travel to sacred places, in spiritual practice, in community, in sacred places, as well as sightseeing, learning, discovery, exploration. We're getting ready to make a plan to go along with Spirit Tours on a particular tour. Now we have to choose what we're most interested in, and right now we're kind of split 50-50 between either Bali, Bhutan, or the New England. So if you're interested in one of those tours, these will be in 2025, sign up on the back table back there. That's not a commitment to go anywhere. It's just saying that you're interested. We're going to do a Zoom with Reverend Karen Fry, who is one of the owners of the tour company, Sacred Travel, and talk about it and answer questions on that conversation. Also, remember that we're welcoming our new music director. We don't know who that person is yet, but we know, put your arms out like this. We are welcoming our new music director. We know this person is ready for us, and we're ready for them, and hallelujah. So we're looking forward to discovering who that's going to be and preparing for them. Also, our lovely Sunday teams could use some help. Paula stepped in today because there were only 2 people on the team this morning, and we need 3. So that's true a lot of weeks. Paula steps in. She's supposed to be coordinating all the teams, but she ends up doing work every single Sunday in with the teams, which is fine unless you have to do it all the time. These are only supposed to be serving once a month. So we would love it if some of you who tend to be here before the service starts would sign up back there and let Paula follow up with you to let you know what's available and how you can help. Also, this coming Wednesday, Reverend Dr. Barbara Leger is going to be doing a Zoom meeting for all those interested in finding out more about Possibilities Ukraine, which is the project she's working on right now with Golden Path of Peace, her ministry and non-governmental nonprofit is teaching children in Ukraine in school about practicing inner peace and how they communicate with one another, how they create their art, and it is spreading. It's touching not only them and their teachers, but their families as well. There are thousands of kids that are going through these programs just when Ukraine really can use it. So Possibilities Ukraine gives us other opportunities and ways to support the people in Ukraine to survive what they're going through. So invite you to that meeting with Reverend Barbara on this coming Wednesday on Zoom at noon. And the link is probably in your bulletin this morning. It will also be in the Tuesday newsletter for the next day. Next Sunday is our town hall meeting. It will be right here in this room following the service, but for those who are online, there will also be a Zoom link. Take a look out for that in the Tuesday email. It's also up on the screen this morning, but it's very long. So you might want to take a picture of it if you're wanting to find that later on. But that is where we will set up for next Sunday's about an hour long, maybe not quite that long, town hall meeting. And then the following Sunday is our picnic. So we're going to be out here in the park at Picnic Area A following the service. Please sign up to let us know what you're going to bring. Golden Gate cannot supply the entire meal for everybody, and we don't have too many people that have let us know what they're bringing yet, and we need to know. Otherwise, we're stumped. Also, we need help. Otherwise, you're going to be carrying all your own stuff out there, setting it up, taking it down, cleaning it up. We'd rather have teams to do that. So if you can sign up for one of those tasks, that would be enormously wonderful. Please take a look. Those signups are on the activities table back there, along with the Sacred Travel. I want to remind you that our beloved Karen Drucker has been doing evening performances from 5:30 to 8:30 on some specific dates at Cafe Arrivederci in San Rafael, and she is doing her last one on August 6th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m., and they do highly recommend reservations. So if you want to give Karen a little GGCSL love and support, that would be a great thing to do. We have good news and bad news about Stan's memorial. So the memorial that's being planned at Villa Marin is now overfull. They can't take us. There's too many of us. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a memorial here for Stan a little bit later in August, and that will be for everybody from GGCSL who wants to come, or anybody that misses the one amongst his other friends at Villa Marin. And so we want you to not go to the one at Villa Marin so that it won't stress Mariana out, because there are too many people there and she doesn't know what to do with them. But we will have one here. So I'll let you know more about that once we've moved through the one they're doing for him that's coming up later in August. And I believe that Ellen Nicosia has 2 spaces left for the August San Francisco Marin Food Bank Volunteer Day. It's only 2 hours. It's from noon to 2. And it will be on August 13th. On August 13th, that's a Tuesday. And she needs to know by 1 week before who everybody is that's going to be coming. So Ellen is back at the back, right in front of the welcome table. And please talk to Ellen if you'd like to be one of the remaining 2 people that she wants for this team coming up in August. And finally, let me remind you, prayer is always available following the service. We have 3 practitioners on duty this morning. So practitioners who are here, I encourage you also to go and get a prayer this morning. We got a full table of practitioners. Don't let them go home disappointed. Let them do some prayer work for you. If there's anything in your life that's bugging you right now, this is the time to get a prayer. You can also make written prayer requests and just put those right in the box, and they will be prayed over throughout this week as well. All right. So would the practitioners please stand and surround the room right now? Before we do the closing blessing, we are going to pray together. This is called a chamber of prayer. It's a brief prayer that we do not in unison. We all do our own prayer, but we do them simultaneously so that you are bathed and washed in this prayer for your highest joy and most outrageous happiness. So get ready to receive as we turn. And so it is. As you open your eyes, before you stand to join us for the closing and the final closing song, just look around and realize that you have just been bathed in words of light. In words of light. Please stand and join us in the benediction and the closing song. So we say together, I now walk, so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. And here we go with Gary.
Thank you for having me again this morning. Until next time, which won't be very long, I leave you with this blessing.
Sing along.
Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, make good flow to you, let joy renew you, till we meet again. Love be with you, love be with you. Yeah. All together, hand in hand, we see the light take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. Take your past and set it free. Share this blessing all together. Love be with you, peace enfold you, spirit lift you, breathe it in. Truth come through you, may good flow to you, and let joy renew you till we meet again. Love be with you, ooh, love be with you, ooh, love be with you, ooh, love be with you. Keep that going. Ooh, love be with you, 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 ooh, love be with you. I love you so much. See you next time.